I just learned some jazz today, it's true.
So I'm Tiffany with iHeartGR, and in this episode, we cover things like visioning, what the future of real estate looks like, what Vince is open to for the next year, and where we're going next on vacation.
One win, 2, 3 man with a 4 5 step to the door like, oh my gosh, just throw that cash in a backpack, run around the back and pull up the track, cause yo.
You guys, guess what? The time has finally come. More specifically, dinner time with Irie Lemon.
I just bought a class right now.
Are you excited? You guys, our first class is Lebanese food. Don't worry, we'll get to Caribbean next. We're going to break it down, and this is just the first of many classes to come. In fact, we want your feedback on what future classes you'd like to take. But March 24th, dinner time with Irie Lemon, we're going to make an incredibly delicious, easy Lebanese dinner that you're going to be happy to eat. Vince, are you hype?
I'm hyped. Yeah, let's see if I can keep up with Liz in the kitchen. I'm excited for it. I think, yeah.
Vince is a fan of Lebanese food, too. This is your genre. You like this food.
Yeah, I mean, if you love pita, like I love pita. If you love chicken tuwuk, like I like chicken tuwuk, then this is a class for you. Make it a family thing. $40 per household. I'm excited. I'll be teaching. Liz will be teaching. This is going to be legendary for dinner time.
So, guys, we have limited seats available for our first class, and we, of course, want to make sure our podcast family is in there quick. So head to irielemon.com, click on events, and you'll see it right there. Of course, you can find it on our Instagram at irie.lemon. DM us, slide into Vince's DMs, especially if you're cute, and we'll tell you how to get your ticket.
Choo. No, I'm just playing.
Tiffany, thank you so much for being here.
You guys startled me for just a second. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited about this.
This is a long time in the making. We were supposed to connect. I feel like it was pre-pandemic.
It was definitely more than a year ago.
It was.
Was it really?
Yes, it was.
We were scheduled.
Time moves so fast.
Yeah, especially 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it felt long.
Mm-hmm.
But it moved fast. Time never waits.
Time never waits.
Never does.
I always say it's the asset you don't get back.
It's the only thing you can't buy.
Right. And you can always make more money and learn new things.
If they figure out how to buy time, I'll buy it.
Bunches of it all the time. Yep. But you guys, it happened. We're here now.
We made it. So I think also it was meant to be that we're talking now. I believe in all that stuff. So before we get too into it, Tiffany, for those not familiar, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm the broker and owner of iHeart Grand Rapids. We are a boutique real estate brokerage that focuses really deep into our community.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I met you first at some of my parties. Is that
so
a myth?
Cool? No, it's not a myth. I was following you before you knew I existed, just so we're all on the same page here. So I was best friends with you and you didn't realize it. But now we're together. Yes, we met at the Menu with AB and you. And I think the first one was...
One Bourbon?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I was going to say Butcher's Union, but that was not correct.
That would have been fun too.
That would have been a lot of fun. And then we went over to Sauvignon.
Yes.
And that was a fun just the whole thing.
So much
that
fun.
shit was crazy.
That was
really
so crazy.
Outdoor. Remember the cops came because it got too loud?
That's when I met you.
Yep.
Yes, it is. And
Isn't
we were all
that
in the
crazy?
back hanging out.
Yep. And then look at us now.
Look at us now.
Crazy.
Rest in peace parties. We'll get back there, guys. Don't worry.
One day.
We're going to throw some parties. Vince and I are definitely going to throw more parties.
Good.
I'm ready for them. Are you ready to get back to that?
100% yes.
I'm just like, especially to be outside again and with people. I will say, like, I feel like we're going to realize that we lost a year of those casual interactions with people that can form into actual meaningful relationships and friendships and business partnerships. So I want to get back to that fast because I feel like there's only so much like forced Zoom networking we can do. Like so much of it is so much easier when it's just like in passing at a party. Mm-hmm. So
I am zoomed out, you guys. I can't even. It is so much.
It's been a lot.
Thank you for that moment. Anytime I see a Zoom meeting, please continue to send Zoom meetings to me. I will be very happy to accept them. But also it's just, okay, here we go. And I've got to get ready.
I'm hoping people realize that Zoom meetings can be,
13 minutes.
What I've been doing, guys, I have a little life hack on this.
Okay.
So my industry was always remote because I'm a blogger. And my clients are national CPG brands like Sabra and Stonyfield, et cetera. So we never had face-to-face videos before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because we've never met in person at a coffee shop. So we're not trying to mimic that.
Sure.
We used to do things called phone calls. So
What?
guess what, guys? I want to just let you all know that meetings can take place over the phone.
Incredible.
And you can put your AirPods on, you can walk around, you can do laundry, you could type notes, you could not be dressed in hair and makeup.
Life
So
hack.
guys, I'd love to recommend everyone brings back the good old fashioned thing called a phone call. They still work. I tested them out last week.
What if people's companies are just bullish on Zoom and you sitting there for an hour
They
with
really
your
are.
screen on? I hate when people like turn your screen on. Like, no,
I know.
I have the choice to turn my screen on or turn it off. Why have to turn it on? That's so
Yeah.
weird. That's so weird to me.
Okay, so Vince, somebody was asking me about that because she was pressured to turn her Zoom on. And I usually put mine on.
No.
I will say usually because
Yeah.
I'm like,
Say no,
Yeah.
right.
unless you have to. But I don't understand why you have to.
Yeah.
I
What's
do-
your thought? I feel like sometimes as a leader though, you do owe it. Like for example, last week I had a 90-day check-in with my operations manager. I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
not like show my face if
That's
she was showing her face.
different.
That
That's
is
a-
totally
That's a
different. I
one-on-one
agree.
with your number
I
two. Like
agree.
you're gonna have to like put your face on. You know what
Exactly.
I'm
And I
saying? Like,
will
come
say,
on now. I was talking
What
about
if
like
it's with a prospective client?
that's different too.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
I'm
the
talking-
problem is every call I have is super important.
Well, your
It's-
meetings
yeah.
are fun. And your calls are fun. I'm talking about the boring people who are like, in like a marketing strategy about the same thing they've been talking about for
Right.
6 months,
Yeah.
and no one's done anything about it yet. And it's an hour and 15 minutes.
No, that's too much.
as everyone's talking
That's an
about.
Because
email.
also then you have to like show like the expressions the whole time. and it's
Exactly.
too exhausting.
And I hate that like everyone has something to say thing, and so you have to wait.
Oh, like go around the
Mhm.
room type of thing.
And it's just like, but because it's different in conversation.
Oh, 100%.
Like while you're having me, you can interject
Right.
and say your quick point. Now you have your stage. Now you feel you have to formulate that point more.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't, You can't just be like,
So
oh yeah,
true.
because now it's different. Like,
That is a
Mhm.
fact.
and I'm just like, oh my god, now that person's gonna say something. That person's gonna, and I'm
Plus,
sitting there
everyone
like,
else mutes, so it's like the real lights on you. Like,
Right.
yeah, don't sound stupid. We're
don't,
we're all
don't
listening.
stumble over your words.
That's another thing though. I find myself actually listening more on Zooms and in Teams calls versus like
Nice.
in real life.
Okay.
like
so
versus a meeting in real life.
Yeah,
Mm.
half the meetings I'm in, I'm not even. Sorry,
That's
you've
okay.
been. Sorry, you've been in the meeting with me.
Yeah. No,
Wha-
we're all doing disclosures
That's super
now.
interesting.
I'm never really there.
Yeah.
But you are in a Zoom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zoom. Because I have to be.
You're.
I guess, yeah, because you can't really like piece out.
Because if you ask me a question on Zoom and I'm not there, it's silence.
That's true.
Yes, it is. Somebody has maybe called me out on a Zoom when I wasn't quite there at that moment.
I did.
Yes, you did.
What was the moment?
Tiffany, what's your opinion on that? And I was like,
Oh.
oh shoot.
Well, okay, was that in the mastermind?
Yes, it
so
was.
one thing that I've realized, I've gotten feedback from, so when you lead a mastermind group, there's two people that do all the talking, and I say that because I'm the loudmouth talker. So my goal as the extroverted talkative person
course.
is to make sure everyone gets talk time. So I apologize if you felt
No,
called
it's
out.
fine. I'm just an introvert that's slightly traumatized
No,
by
but
that
many.
experience.
No, I totally
kidding.
get that, and it's like I'm trying not to do all the damn talking
Yeah, that's
because I want everyone to. Yeah, that's so funny.
I do have one more like Zoom experience. I just need to get off my chest. I didn't realize how to use Teams because I'm very much I've been using Zoom for years. So
Yeah.
this is not a new experience
And
for
same,
me, but
I
the
didn't
uptick,
either.
yeah, this is too much. So I couldn't figure out the photo or the video situation for the teams that we were doing. And so I got my background perfect. I'm in front of the window. I'm ready to go. But the front of my house, like what you can't see on video,
Oh,
absolute
yeah.
junk. You guys, I had
100%.
laundry day happening. All of the dogs were out and running around. My couch cushions were down because the kids. It was a whole thing. And so I pressed. I thought I was accepting
Oh,
the video.
no.
Yes. And
You
our
turned the
message,
camera
I
around?
did.
Perfect.
Yes. And so for 20 minutes, I could not figure it out. I'm like, emergency trying to block my incredible house situation that was
I know.
happening.
I always think about. I have that fear too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love that you only do have to have like the little area behind you nice, which is nice.
Yes.
But yeah,
It's controlled. That's all we need. Just this one little area. So, Vince, I'm very excited that you've picked up active listening this year as a skill.
yeah, Vince.
Thank
nice
you.
job.
I've been my whole life. Is it passive listening? My
Maybe.
mom called me a selective listener.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say,
I only listen to things that, and I don't know how to dictate it. I just feel like it's my gut. My brain just knows
Yeah.
what I need to listen to and what I don't.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
Doesn't mean you're not important. Doesn't mean your opinion's not important.
No.
It's just weird. Like my whole life has been like that.
Yeah. That's okay.
sometimes though you do listen more than people realize.
Okay.
Not every time. There are the times you're like, Liz, I have no clue what you said, which is fair. But
And I'll tell
there
you
are
that.
also
Yeah,
other
yep.
times though that I actually feel like, you're like the kid that can almost do other things while you
Oh.
can multitask
For
more.
sure.
If I'm on my
I have
phone-
to pay
I cannot,
attention.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm on my, I'm definitely listening to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
That's why phone calls are so effective.
Yeah.
You guys, I
Guys,
have
phone calls in 2021.
phone
Let's
calls.
Bring 'em back.
I have for the last quarter committed that I'm going to answer or return every phone call, even if they don't leave a message.
Okay.
It has
now.
been completely crazy. It's amazing what it's done for
What
my
inspired
business.
I
that?
was about to say, like,
Yeah.
you better call people back.
No, even if they don't leave a message, like even if it's
Oh,
just a
even just a
call, I
call,
don't know
yeah.
this number. If it's
Do
somebody
you
that's
get
on
a
my
lot
phone,
of calls like
so
that?
many.
Okay.
So
bet.
many calls like that. And so at first I'm like, it's spam. I don't want to deal with this. But I accidentally answered a call that I was trying to call screen, and I'm like, okay, here we go. It was a reporter, and I
Oh,
got a whole
wow.
article written about me from just answering the phone. And after that, I was like,
Yeah.
why am I not
You
answering
never
every
know.
phone call? You
That's
don't know.
So,
Even the spam, I answer or return a call now.
that's a really valid point. When I was on, you reminded
Take
me.
off your list, please.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, when I was on the Today Show randomly, it was a 212 number.
Yep.
And again, you don't have the Today Show in your phone contacts.
Exactly.
So to your point, some of the most important calls, had I not picked it up, he would have just called and gotten somebody else to do it.
Yep.
So that's such a good. I think it's tough now because there are so many of the spam calls that we're like almost traumatized to answer.
Yes.
But you're right. I
Yeah,
like that.
or, people have this, I don't know, it's just embedded in them that if somebody's calling them, it's bad news or they're going to be sold to.
Truth.
And so I just think that so many people have not answered their phone for so long that I'm
That's
just going to do
true.
something different.
Yeah, flip it. And texting is huge right now, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I know.
But yeah, I suck at. Well,
Do you suck at it, or have you just actively chosen not to do whatever you're about to say?
Yeah, Vince. Which one is it?
That's such a deep question. Both.
That's
What
what
were
I'm
you
here
going to
for.
say you suck at?
Both. All right. To me, texting is like highlight,
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
right? So like, I'm speaking about probably outside of business.
That's okay. We're
I don't.
going
I
there.
don't really answer a lot of texts all the time because for me
That's
it's
why
just
you
like
didn't respond to me. I get it.
you text me.
No, I'm just giving you grief,
His
dude.
face.
I feel so bad because people bring it up like, "Yo, you didn't text me back,"
I will say though, Vince.
and I'm just like,
I kind of
read it.
expect.
Yeah, yeah.
When
Thank
I
you.
text you, I'm pretty much assuming I won't hear it from you.
"Yeah, you're gonna have a conversation with yourself for about 2 days."
I literally.
Did you ask me a question?
plan on
I'll
that.
respond if you ask me a question. That's it.
And the only
Otherwise,
reason
thanks for
I'll
the
text
info.
you is because I don't necessarily want to bother you with a phone call for every little.
Well, that's
thing,
different. You
or-
know, in the message you can put like people's numbers up top.
Yeah.
You guys do that?
Yeah.
So I just put like important people up top, and I just always like make sure I check it,
Yeah.
make sure I know what's going on. That's different.
Yeah.
I just mean like everyone else, like. But I do think texting people back, you just never know what you're missing out on.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because if someone's like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up?" You're like, "What do you want?"
That's
They
it.
could actually have something for you.
They could.
Yeah.
So I'll just kind of go into not of like, yeah, and texting. I don't know if you text people back more than you call, whatever.
So texting for me is very much a highlight situation as well. I have been getting better at it, but sometimes even when you're driving, you'll see it pop through and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
you're not going to respond to them while you're driving. And then I forget.
So this is
Yeah.
like complete sidestep. Are you on like TikTok and all those things, or just?
Yes, but under a name where nobody would find me.
Oh.
Oh.
Yep. I'm very interested in watching everything
You
first.
consume it. You don't create.
Yes. Well, I get to the point where I create. So the first 6 months on any new thing, like in a new Facebook group, in a new application like Clubhouse,
Uh-huh.
when we were on Clubhouse that one time, I
Loved
was
it.
like, this is a new thing.
Yeah.
Because I like to watch and consume and understand and just kind of break it
Figure it
all
out.
down. Yeah. And then I start going with the content creation. 'Cause
Yeah.
I want to understand and completely feel in control first. Again, I think this goes back to the team's background thing. I just want to know what's happening. And then,
And you're
So-
an 8, right?
yes, I
Yeah.
am.
The control word keeps coming up.
Interesting. So let's talk about your childhood then.
Oh, sure.
fellow
Let's go
eight.
down that path.
So, talk to me about it. So, were you always like into business or what? Like, what was your thing when you were a kid?
Yeah, I've always been into real estate ever since I was little. So we grew up not having very much at all. Very like the poor area of town. We did not have a whole lot. And so just the idea of having a house was very interesting to me, and owning that space and not having people that could come in unannounced and things like that. And so we, see,
Wow.
it just keeps coming up. And then we moved to Michigan. I used to live in Oklahoma. We moved to Michigan.
Oklahoma.
With my grandparents, so we didn't own that space as well. And then at the same time, my dad was building his own rental like empire
Oh, cool.
type of thing. Yeah, so this tension in housing kept coming up in my life, and so I always knew real estate was going to be my thing, my jam.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So just you went full gears ahead of real estate.
Full gear. But I was not at all going to be a real estate agent ever in my life. I was like, don't want that role. So I did government contracting. I did lending. I did nonprofit housing development. I did everything before becoming a real estate agent. And you guys, I love it.
Wow.
I love
So
it
what
so much.
was the path that you took you to iHeart Grand Rapids?
Oh, yeah. Good question. So I told you I did every other thing besides being a real estate agent. And so the nonprofit housing came right before I jumped into being a realtor. And so really this community and serving in the nonprofit affordable housing space was like, there's so much need out there. There's so much need. There's so many cool areas of our city where we're at. And so I grew this really deep love and connection for helping people in the community because of that. And so when I went into real estate, I opened up a brokerage. I already had relevant experience, so I could open up a brokerage that served real estate agents. And it just was wonderful for a time until I couldn't control what I was in charge of anymore. This is my 8. And so I said, you know what? I've already got this brand over here that's serving. Let's just go deeper into that.
Yeah.
So smart. I mean, I think control at the top is the thing and always the thing.
Yeah.
To the day you die. I think you need control. I'm so bullish on it.
Yep.
I'll never give it up.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You can share it.
Yeah.
But not in every aspect. There has to be, especially in business, there has to be like the one person.
Yep.
And so that has to be figured out, talked about, or whatever. But there's always has to be one person.
Yeah.
Who makes those calls.
So do you have trust issues when, like, you talk about the one person? I have to imagine, Vince, you don't come to that person quick overnight, because if you are gonna share any of that control,
let Tiffany go first. I don't know how you think about it.
I had
that would just
such
seems like that would be
difficult time.
hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had such a difficult time hiring out things because you've got to get them up to speed. You've got to get them to where they're going to be. And so I started with a virtual professional first. And man, I tried to control every aspect of that onboarding process, which was important to get them to know the basic functions of things. And we set out, okay, these are the tasks, these are the times we're going to spend. And so, but in little increments. So 20 hours a week, something like that. And that was my first introduction to giving over some of it.
How did that feel? For example, like there's so many benefits of getting help. Did those outweigh maybe the fear of losing some control, or?
Yeah, the time. You can't get back your time.
No.
And so I had to decide which one's more important at this moment.
Ooh, time or control.
Yep.
Pick one.
Time.
There
All
we
day
go.
long. And so that was what overcame that.
But the thing, the plot twist in that is control, though, at its highest level. So.
Well, you've got to be the one that makes the end of those decisions.
You control time. You're like, that little ancillary thing doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm picking what actually matters, time.
Yep.
So for me, it's like, first is gut feeling.
Yep.
Do I think you're smart, and do I believe in you?
Yeah.
From like a gut standpoint. If I don't, there's nothing you can really do at that point. I'm already unsold. I can be proven over time wrong, but like I'm not really into like wasting any time.
But I also
wasting
feel
any
like,
time.
do you have the natural gift that Vince does, where like he can we met, and I feel like he knew more about me.
Yep.
Day one.
Yep.
Oh, I know you're good or bad right up front.
Like,
exactly.
How would you? Yeah. So you have
just
that
know.
same-
You just know. You just know. I agree.
You see it a mile away. My only blind spot is people that I care about.
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course.
So
family.
family,
for anyone
Let's
that.
talk about your childhood.
Ooh,
childhood?
look at
Are we interviewing me?
the control. 2/8. There's gonna be a
Tell
back.
us about that.
Yes.
My childhood was lit.
His parents are incredible.
To be honest, I don't remember too much of it because it was such a time. But yeah, I'm a twin, so I have a twin sister,
Oh, nice.
and so I just remember like having a person there all the time.
Yeah.
Shout out
and
to Maddie.
and talking
Hey, Maddie.
about control is like a funny joke. Like, she used to like pack my bag for school, like my lunch, all that kind of stuff.
She knew what you needed.
She knew what I needed,
Yep.
right?
Isn't she a type
Yep.
2?
I think so.
Mhm.
And
Shout out
so
to the type 2s out there.
I don't think she's ever
We're a little underrepresented today.
so that was like interesting. But yeah, I was a curious kid. I was very aware
Yeah.
and like ahead emotionally and mentally. And I remember knowing that at a very young age. Like I remember like knowing what I was gonna do, and like not saying I wouldn't say think a lot of people were stupid, but just knowing that they didn't know.
Yeah.
And so it's such a weird feeling being like 8 and knowing that this adult who's trying to tell you something doesn't actually know, but they think they do. And that's the scary thing.
Right.
Because like I always tell people, it never affected me, but I could see how it could affect so many other people. So if a teacher said, oh, you can't do that, for me, like, well, you can't tell me what I can and can't do in my brain. But for someone else, teacher tells them that, oh, it completely ruined. And then to this day, they're like messed up by it. And I'm like, man, you should never listen to that person. But like, how do you get there? I don't know how. I've just always been that way. But similar to you, into business.
Yep.
I was really into, my parents, we didn't have a lot either. Like we climbed up. And so I was growing up. As we grew up, we like, every 4 years there's a level up.
Of course.
And so I come from a hardworking background. So for me, it's always hard work first and foremost. Then the second thing was like, well, I didn't want to work hard forever. I remember thinking that at a young age. I didn't want to work hard for nothing.
Right.
That's my only, I'm down to work hard. I'm not down to work hard for nothing. And like other people find value in other things, but for me, you're only on this earth for a little bit. And so you can't enjoy it. Not into it. And that's probably getting back to being 8 and being in control was like, I saw my parents work so hard for no reason. Right. And like, I remember being 12, 13, make my mom cry in the car because I'm pushing her while she's working a job. Mm-hmm. I don't understand any 12, 13-year-olds doing that. Probably asking their mom what they do. I'm like, why you work for them? Why are you doing that? It makes no sense. And I'm like a little kid.
Because you could see beyond it.
I'm like,
right?
What's the point?
Yeah.
What's the end game?
Yep.
You can't even tell me. So why are you doing it? Right? And I'm like a little kid. So that's kind of who I've always kind of been. And like, if I can't make sense of it, or I don't see the point of it, I'm not interested.
Plus, that's your 8 energy like that. Very protective of the people you love
For
the most.
sure. 100%.
Like, you're going to be very vocal. So you probably came out very like strong and heated about it because you cared so much.
And my discerning, which I
Yeah.
think is like my intuition and my discernment
you
is
knew that wasn't a good
next
situation.
level.
Yep.
So it's just like bad gig, makes no sense.
Right.
Done. Yep.
Yeah.
But it's hard because like I think in life I get asked those questions a lot just because people know that like
everybody comes to you to ask you if they should do something.
They do.
Because you've got great advice.
Yeah.
I find that that's the case too. I'll be sitting at a coffee shop. I do love coffee shops and I still go to
Shout out
coffee
to coffee
shops.
I know. I need to get
shops.
back. I feel like I got
Love
out of the
it.
habit.
Listen, when they open it up, it's gonna be crazy.
It's
I know.
amazing. So and then you'll be meeting about one thing and then totally different conversation. So why are you doing that then?
Yeah.
It doesn't make you happy.
It's
Why
never-
are you even continuing in this?
Yeah.
It's never about the business, really.
Never.
So it's something else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, what's the issue? I always ask people like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That's why
you're talking about this right now, but that's not what you're talking about.
Nope.
It's like
Help me help you.
I get it. I know.
So I feel like that. Yeah.
maybe you should be a therapist.
No, couldn't do that.
I don't know if I could hold people's emotions that much.
Yeah.
Real estate has a lot of emotions
Oh,
involved
I
with it.
can imagine.
Super big dollars, super big emotions. It's involved
Oh,
with somebody's
yeah.
personal security.
Their
and
land,
so,
their house, they
exactly.
built
Like
this.
these are
And
all
their feelings about real estate and housing.
Yep. But I don't know that I can continue an ongoing, like, let me carry your emotions with you after the transaction. I'm still friends with you for sure,
Yeah.
but it gets real deep in the middle of those transactions. So I don't know that I could be a therapist, but I
Yeah.
definitely see a lot of those tendencies.
Yeah. I was only half teasing, but you do like even just how you like knew. it
But
was
both of
more
us are
than
like,
just
no therapist.
I go to a therapist. I'm not going to be a therapist.
Yeah,
That's
that's
not
all-
where we're at.
Yeah.
So let's talk about going to therapy.
Yes.
First of all, I don't think enough people talk about it and support
Oh.
it. So guys,
Therapy's a thing. You should go.
It
Please
is the
go to
only
therapy.
way that I got through opening iHeart Grand Rapids.
don't you agree more people
Well,
should go to
explain that.
therapy?
Yeah. So in August, I was like, I am not doing what I should be doing. I should not 2019, excuse me. I got in an accident. I was like, I don't know what's up with me. I don't know what's happening. It wasn't like drugs or alcohol related, so don't think that. But I was driving and I lost consciousness. And I was,
Wow.
this is not okay. Something is not okay here.
Talk
And
about losing control.
Yeah, absolutely. The
That's
purest
like your worst
sense
fear.
of it. Yeah.
That wake up call.
Yeah.
For sure. And so I went to the doctor. I'm like, hey, I need a therapist. This is not okay. Whatever's happening here. And so it really was like every area of my life. There was no area that I was in charge of. I was doing things and it looked from the outside very successful, but there was nothing that I was like, I feel good. I feel like I have a firm foundation. I'm in control of what I'm doing. I'm in control of what's coming next. And so I started going to therapy and amazing, absolutely amazing. Like just unpack. I told him, first of all, the two things that I did not want to do is dig into childhood. Not interested in that. Thanks so much. And then
that was okay.
Yeah, he's like, great, let's talk about
Perfect.
solutions because we're
Yes.
solution-based therapy. And I'm like,
Oh,
yes.
That's cool.
Which I love.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then the other one was, if I ever see you in the grocery store, just pretend I don't exist. Just
Yeah.
don't even look at me. I don't want to see you. This is our room. We're done.
Yeah.
And so we got to unpacking a lot of things, which was great. It was, what's my fear involved with this decision? Because I'm very decisive, and I knew at that time I was going to have to leave. I was going to have to leave where I was at and open up my own thing so that I could be in charge of that and the vision for that. And so, we worked through for 4 months. Okay, what's it going to look like when you announce it? What's it going to look like when you do it? How much money do you need to get into doing it? And we set all these goals, and we played out every single worst case scenario it could possibly be. And I'm telling you, it was the only way that I got through that and 2020.
Right.
It was incredible.
That's cool. Yeah. I think
Therapy is
that's
big.
It's huge. Yeah.
Do you feel like with guys it still has that, connotation, or is it getting better? What's your perspective? Even with minorities.
I think it's gotten better. I think you got a lot of like macho men out there who act like they don't, but they all come talk to me anyway.
Yep.
So they all get their therapy in some way or form. And
Do you
they're
have
not-
a lot of friends your age that go to a therapist?
If they do, they're not gonna talk about it. Like openly. I think to your point, like, or they're not gonna talk to their dudes about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, like my friend group is weird. Like, yeah, we'll probably talk about it, but like in public, like a guy you're not that close with, you're probably not gonna bring, hey, bro, I've been in therapy for a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
you're probably not gonna
Sure.
bring that up just because, like,
Because I feel like girls do that now.
Yeah.
It's it's changed a lot.
yeah, women are always first on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is right. I think men should feel more open if they want to, but like again, it could be a control thing. Like you may not want, because the next question is why, and you may not want to explain why you're in therapy. Right? You may not want to explain like what's going on.
Yeah.
Right? And so like, everybody handles their problems differently. But
Yeah.
I think therapy is cool. I think more men should do it, more women should do it, more minorities of course should do it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be it's hard to convince people that talking about something fixes the issue.
Yeah.
It does, though. It does.
Whereas, for me, talking is the only thing that fixes things. So for me, but you're right, Vince, a lot of people that don't verbally process like I do, their biggest fear would be having to talk about the things.
Yeah.
Well, they probably just don't know how they feel about something.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly, because they haven't spent any time really thinking about it.
Yeah. When you
Yeah.
can name that fear, it becomes less powerful.
The thing, I always like when you talk about it, the shame's released.
Exactly.
Like it goes away into the air.
Yep.
But when I don't talk about it and try to like keep it together, just it gets bigger.
Yeah. It's the tension within
Yes.
you rather than the tension that's spoken. It's
Right.
just it's so
It's
much.
so crazy. But it is just so cool how it's all about our thoughts.
Yeah.
And changing our thoughts. Like that's just talk about having control. I really believe if you change your thoughts, you can change your feelings.
Absolutely.
And I love that because you can't control the circumstances or what happens or things out of your control. Like that other people, they're called circumstances. Like something happens, a pandemic hits, your business is demolished overnight. Whatever.
Yeah.
A million
My
different
business is
things.
still here, by the way.
Right. No, but I'm saying
she
like
was
the
pointing
restaurant.
at me. It's fine.
No, I mean the restaurant
I'm just
industry.
messing with
Yeah. The pandemic was one of the best things that could have happened for my new business. It was
Talk about that.
insane. It was like, okay, we get into starting February 1st, 2020. I get sick. I'm almost positive I had COVID that week. The next
What week was that? 'Cause
the very first week of February.
we both were very sick in February. We're confident it was COVID. Are you
I'm
still,
lost
I
of taste and
100%
smell. Yeah.
think I had COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, I was coughing up blood.
I remember
so-
Vince
Yeah.
texting me, "I'm ready to die, Liz. It's okay. Just want
That's
to let you
what
know
I
I'm ready to die."
Yep. I called my
I'm
dad.
always
I'm
right.
like,
To this
I've
day, I'm ready to
never.
die.
I know, but
Yes.
you don't text me that on a regular. Like we had COVID.
I'm not afraid of death.
Good.
It's promised.
Glad to hear that.
Okay, keep going.
All right.
So
Anyways,
February,
Sorry,
we all had
we've gone
COVID.
really deep into that.
Sorry to get dark on the podcast.
No, that's
Just saying.
okay. And so
The least thing you should be afraid of is dying.
that I agree. So many more people are scared of public speaking actually than death.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's another conversation.
100%.
So I'm sick the first week. The second week I go to Aubrey, who is just the most amazing integrator of my business. She makes things happen.
Shout out to all the integrators out
Whoop,
there that
whoop.
let the visionaries be visionaries.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. So I said, hey, how about we just don't hire any agents? And she told me, she looked me straight in the eye and said, you need to rethink that decision.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's what we'll do. So I rethought it. We kind of redeveloped what that business plan was going to look like. And then I brought on 3 agents right away before the shutdown and then the shutdown. And so I'm like, what am I going to do? This is a brand new business, brand new baby business.
Yeah.
And so I had to sit for 2 months and think about how this could never happen to my business ever again. And so I redeveloped everything that I did, the way that we interacted with clients, the way that we were setting up our website to integrate with client communication online, meet them where they are. All of our listings have 3D tours now with them, so that never, ever, ever again will we be stopped by not being able to be in person. And so we even redeveloped how we were going to bring on agents and integrate them into the company.
And isn't that a gift of what happened?
Yeah.
That all that's beneficial regardless, but that was the push you needed.
Yeah, it was. And
Crazy.
the pause that I needed, really, because going from what I was doing into this, I never actually gave myself a pause for it. So some of those afternoons, I would just sit on my little anti-gravity chair on the porch and think about, what does real estate look like in 10 years?
Yes.
And then how can I build that backwards to do it in 3?
Okay.
I love that. Personally.
I already
Thank
knew there
you.
were stars in his eyes.
I'm talking my own language. Yeah, so I agree. That's all I want to say.
Hey, this is Kirk, producer of the Passion to Profit podcast. I did not want to have to do this, people, but every week, Liz and Vince come on here and ask you to subscribe. They ask you to write Apple reviews. And people, some of you are doing it, a lot of you aren't. For Pete's sake, can you get on there and do it? That way we don't have to hear them talk about it all the time. Thank you. Enjoy the show.
It was a pause for me, too. And a lot of decisions got made
Good.
on my end. Because, like, if it didn't stop, the world didn't stop, I would have felt 10 years from now that I wasted 10 years.
Yeah.
100%.
Climbing up the wrong ladder.
Mm-hmm.
No thanks.
Not worth it.
Nope.
Not what I signed up for. So I was, I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And so now it's like reworking everything is, like, hard. But it's like, it's fun, though.
And worth it.
Yeah, because now you got to ask yourself the real question, like, what are you trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
What are you trying to accomplish? What do you want? You know, it's hard when you're like, you can do anything you want to do. Which I think a lot of people don't understand because I've never, have you ever had a job before?
A job?
Yeah, like a regular job.
Yeah.
See, when you've only done one, it's hard not thinking that you can do everything.
Oh,
you know?
agreed. When I had my job, I was in every other department in that company learning
See,
what they did.
it's
So
probably like
there's no job that
Yeah.
I was like, a job?
Yeah, no.
Because I have a job description, but I was in every department learning.
So it's like hard to like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you know, think about it like that.
You're
But
a multi-potentialite. I am sure of it. You can look that up later.
that's such a multi-potential.
I think
Yes.
that's a word that you.
I'm gonna put on that in my bio.
You should. You absolutely
So
should.
ladies,
Well, like
I am
Vince always-
multi-potentialed.
Oh, dear.
Perfect.
He can't afford Match.com, so each week on the podcast, we just do a little quick. Do you see that
Is it-
clip that Karen made? It says cheaper than Match.com.
Oh
you
yeah.
guys, multi-potentialite here.
Come on, look at me.
Look at
And
him.
my beautiful skin, dude. Come on now. Don't mess with me.
Right here. Look at him.
Okay, we're gonna stop getting me dates because I don't have any time for that. But
You know what? You're putting that into action by saying that.
oh my
Knock
God.
it off.
Okay, sorry. I'm open for love.
Yes, you are.
I'm ready to start a family.
Oh, no.
Oh no, that's no. That's
What?
no.
Which
no.
one is it?
No, you're open for
Straight
love.
line.
Just be done. I'm open for love.
I'm open for love.
There we go.
Look, I didn't know I was gonna get a
Him.
coaching session here today,
Well, here we are.
but I'm open for love
Good.
and potentially ready to start a family. Not anytime soon. Fair?
Just open for love is fine.
I want to get that in there.
Oh,
Liz,
Open for
I'm so
love.
proud of you.
I'm really proud of you too.
Liz, you know I'm kidding with the family.
I know.
I thought you were gonna say something.
No. This is too fun to watch two eights interview each other.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like a. Can you feel? It's like a tennis match.
Yeah.
The ball keeps going.
Are you
forward.
okay with that? Should you interview me more?
No, I like
Okay.
it.
All right. Cool.
So, I actually want to know more about like the business side because it's brokerage and so.
Yep.
Is most of your time selling homes or selling land, or is it more like managing your agents now?
Yeah.
And like, what did you learn in that transition period?
So again, going back to February of 2020, before I had the let's not hire any agents, I was like, we've got to get back into being a managing broker because I was solely a managing broker. I didn't sell any real estate at the previous company that I was running. And so I just managed agents all day long, managed agents. And so in order to get this going, to get it started for business, I had to sell real estate again. You guys, I love it again. So now it's a good mix of selling real estate, which is, it keeps me close to what's happening in the market so that I can help coach the agents as well through what they're going through. Yeah. It is incredibly dynamic what's happening in our market right now. That's another conversation. But I do sell real estate. I'm focused on contracts, so not just one-on-one sales, which I do, but nonprofit housing, development, government contracts. I've got a couple of those going right now, and then a couple of multi-year like development contracts. And so I'm really focused on those bigger picture things while helping the agents again with their stuff. So I do that, the managing broker part of it. So any kind of client relations, intermediation that needs to be done. That's probably not even how you pronounce that word. It doesn't matter. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And then
Say what I said.
Yeah, I said what I said. And then the marketing and growth piece of it. So 30, 30, 30, 33, wow. 33, 33%.
So where's the biggest opportunity in real estate as of right now?
Oh, so super interesting. We've had we're in our 4th shift since I've got into real estate. So I got in 2001. There was the bubble that happened then, the recession, the bubble burst. We've been going through this digital experience, which we're almost to the end of, where consumers have access to, Zillow. You can go on Zillow and search for a home. You can get the public information. So now what we're going through, we're right at the very beginning of it, is experience. What's the experience with a real estate agent, and how can that be cultivated and personalized to that client? And so that's where I think the biggest growth area is for real estate right now, is personalized service for the client. Not just, hey, this is what the transaction looks like, but here's how it will look for you, and here's how to connect you to your community, and here's the thing that I specialize in, so we can go really deep into that for you.
Oh, I like that. I feel like experience is underrated in every
Completely
industry.
Agreed. Yeah.
Every industry.
Well, especially like through online.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just a web page and you clicked. And like, thinking about the customer or thinking about yourself. So I've been spending, so we launched our cooking class series or brands called Dinner Time. So you guys should go check that out. We're doing Lebanese cooking March 24th. Sign up at irielemon.com/events. Anyway, I've been spending a lot of time on Amazon because I'm like, man, if you're not thinking about like how people buy things online, you're completely off. And
Alexa, order a sushi lunch.
Exactly.
So yeah, exactly. So
Alexa, get me a house.
Yep.
So I'm like looking at my website, all the things I'm part of. I'm like, oh my god, like this is just poster boards.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a website. This is not a function. This is not an experience.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, fuck. Go on Amazon. Like, what do you actually buy? Like in Amazon, like one click you can buy something shipped to your house. Like that's how everything should be if you're selling like a product like that. But a home or a piece of property, people are obviously doing more due diligence. They want to know what it is.
Yeah.
So to your point is like, how do you give that experience when someone might be in Oklahoma, want to buy 5 homes in Michigan for an investment?
Mm-hmm.
No, they have to fly out here. They have to meet. They have to go interview all these people. They got to find what's the best hot spots. They got to take your word for it. They got to trust that you know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Now they can just hop on line. Is like, what does that experience look like? And those kind of conversations really excite me because I think that is the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like IKEA killed it just by selling furniture. Like, you guys been to IKEA store?
Oh, yeah.
I love the IKEA store.
I was listening to the CMO of IKEA. He was on Gary Vee this week.
Oh, wow. I got to listen to
Talking
that
about innovation.
I got to listen to that
Because obviously IKEA is heavy on the go to the store.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even Apple, right? So like my next example was the Apple store. Like,
Well, tell me the IKEA example. Sorry.
I'm saying like it's nuts. They sell furniture, but they also they're doing everything in the IKEA store.
But the lifestyle. You
But-
walk through,
Yeah.
you're
Exactly.
experiencing the lifestyle.
You
I
go
have-
to
Versus
there
an
as
art
like an
van.
afternoon activity.
Exactly.
No one
Versus-
is doing any like let's get towels as an activity like the Bed Bath and
what I'm
Beyond.
saying.
No disrespect, but IKEA is like a fun adventure.
It
You're
absolutely
getting food.
Like, do we all buy Apple because of the experience or the product?
Yes.
Or the culture.
Yes. And what it
I
says
mean, it's
about
probably,
you.
It's probably,
Yes.
it's probably all three.
All three.
It's elitist,
Absolutely.
whatever, all you name it, is all of it. But the craziest store in the mall is always the Apple store.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Apple
yeah.
store was busy during the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Other
it
stores
was.
like,
That's the only reason I go to the mall.
I'm like, why do you guys need like what do you need a new phone right now for so
Oh, yeah.
badly?
Yep.
And when I go into the mall, it's like, oh my god, these still exist.
I know.
And I
know.
only
You
have to
just
go
walk to the
for-
Apple store.
Correct.
That's it. That's the only reason I go to that mall.
But then you have like an hour to kill while they're fixing your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like walking around like, oh my god. You know where
Yeah.
else is lit though still? Bed Bath & Beyond. This is your year. I've
You
never
think
bought.
so?
Well, my kids now trade antibacterial things
Oh,
with their friends.
interesting.
So you
Yeah.
want to get the cool flavors that you can get better trades with.
Yep.
And hand washing with little boys is a big thing at home.
And Barnes and Noble is sick too.
I haven't been in a Barnes & Noble in a minute.
I love it so
I
much.
used to
I've been
work
in
there
3
all the
times in
time.
the last month.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble
Yeah.
has such a. vibe. You know, like home. It's
Remember I had
warm
a-
always for some odd reason.
What did you have?
A stalker.
Oh no, we're done with that
So, I don't
conversation.
go there
No,
anymore.
no more
Remember
Barnes and
that?
Noble.
No, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. So, anyways,
We're done with that.
move on from
Yeah,
that.
he's done.
I'll never forget the day though.
Awkward.
He used to follow me around all these different spots, like Panera,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. I try to like avoid him going to a brand new place. All of a sudden, I look over. I'm at Barnes Noble. The first time ever, he's 2 tables down.
You know what's weird about real estate? I promise it's absolutely connected. One of the things that I have to do as a managing broker is manage stalkers as well.
Yeah.
Yes, for my agents. So one of our agents had a stalker who
Yep.
was also a client. Didn't realize they were
Eek.
2 and 1 at the beginning. Yeah, we had to get legal involved with
It's
that.
tough.
There's weird stuff. That
And it's hard when they
happens.
literally don't
Is
do
your-
anything but follow you around. Like they
Yeah.
haven't like broken the law yet.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's so
I
scary.
digress.
It-
You, the
Real
Barnes Noble
estate-
brought.
Are you stalking
is-
me? Let me know. Hit me up.
Yeah, real estate is a really interesting industry in that it's one of the only industries that you'll go into a house that you've never been into
Truth.
before with somebody that you may have never
Except
met
for
before.
Airbnb and VRBO.
Yeah.
Talk
Well,
about
that's a whole other yeah.
things we didn't think we would do.
Yep.
Sleep in someone else's bed, Vince.
Yeah.
Think about that.
But they do experience so well, you
So
guys.
well.
And
So
branding.
well.
And their platform is
It's
seamless.
amazing. So what I have on my board right now is think about the customer after they buy. Like
Yeah.
that
How do they
second
feel?
after they buy until the relationship
Yeah.
concludes or through. And
Oh,
I
this
am
is good.
really into that development right now. Really heavy into that development.
So what do they feel after they buy from you?
Well, so there's a couple of different buy stages they have to go through. The very first buy stage is to decide to work with us. And so that's the first one. They've made a commitment that they're
They
going to
bought
work
you.
with us.
Yeah.
Yep, they bought us. The next one is the buy the house stage. So that's exciting. So they get something under contract. Now that sale actually has a couple of different sales happening. You have to sell the client to the house to the client. You've got to sell your buyer to the seller, and then you've got to sell you as a buying agent to the listing agent that
Right.
you're not going to be a pain in the ass to work with.
Right.
And so there's so many sales happening at that moment that each one of them requires their own experiences to happen
Right.
off of it. Yep. And then there's the at the time of closing. So now they are officially homeowners. And so each one of those is celebratory moments that you have to then dive deeper into those
Right.
experiences too. So yeah, we're developing welcome kits. We've got all sorts of confetti happening on email. That's the whole thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Look at you, type 8, avoiding
Is-
feelings. But how do you want them to feel?
I want them to be
What are the words? Like, what are the actual emotions
I
you want
made
them?
the right decision.
Yeah. Confident.
Confident, excited, knowing that it's going to know, like, and trust, right? It's always know, like, and trust. You got
Rest
to
assured.
know they're going to do a great job. They got to like you. They're going to trust you're getting the job done.
I love that. And I feel like
Yeah.
with you, I would feel all those things like immediately. All right, this is going to be fine.
It's
Yeah,
going to
like
be great.
I was going to buy. You had a piece of property in Ada.
Yes. That one is off market sale right now. It's under contract.
Good job.
Sorry. Thank
No,
you.
I loved it.
I love that one.
I wanted to buy it for my my parents, but they didn't like it that much. But I thought it was
They
sick.
didn't watch the promo video, did they?
No, they did.
Oh, they did, and they
Uh,
still didn't like it.
they
Wasn't
lo-
that lit?
They
That promo
They
video?
loved the fucking promo video. Then we looked at it, and then
You know
they're
who
like,
did the drone?
"You did?
I did
Really?
the drone.
Nice
Okay.
Yes,
job.
I did.
You crushed that."
Thank you so
I'm
much.
a fellow female drone owner in West Michigan.
But
There's
then
not a lot of us.
They saw that
Yeah.
like little marsh part, and they just like,
yeah.
"Well, where do we put the house at? In front or in the back?"
No, in the already like level place, man.
But I'm like, I don't want marsh.
Do you see
behind.
those hiking trails with wild blackberries on them?
I was
Oh,
trying.
I know, right?
I was trying to sell him so hard, but then I just heard you talking about. I should have had him.
You should have just
He's
had
like,
them.
Yo, you meet her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get all
that's all you
those
gotta
good
do.
feelings.
But I was like, well, is it yours or is it ours? I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. It's yours. So you guys do.
Until I buy it from you.
you.
Yep.
I'm plotting 40 years from now.
Oh,
So I need
love
you
real
guys, because
estate,
I'm probably going to be
guys.
gone. So I need you guys to get in early and get a lot. And so now I'm like on a hunt to find
Okay.
100 acres.
100 acres. We can do this.
Yes.
We can do
For
it.
a good price,
Yep.
you know.
My
Good
dad had the
price.
best 10 acres in Caledonia. He
Oh.
loved it.
I am
On a
really
compound.
excited about Caledonia right now. They've
Yeah.
got great soil.
They have
That's
great
another
Jamaican food
conversation.
too out there.
Great Dre food. But yeah, I'm big in having land. That's my new thing. So
I love it.
shooting guns and whatnot, having compound. Do what you want to do.
I've heard this a lot, actually. Just so you know, this like migration from the city center is really
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a real thing.
Yeah. So okay. So next question is the bubble gonna burst soon?
Great question. No.
And I want to know what are the most interesting things about the market right now that you alluded to earlier.
Yeah. So the dynamics between buyers and sellers, for sure. We are in. It's. I don't want to say inflated buyer demand, but it feels that way right now. So we had the pause for the pandemic, and a lot of people chose, okay, I'm not going to buy right now because it's not a safe time to buy right now. The interest rates are still historically low.
So
It's
low.
nuts.
Makes no
We just
sense.
refied on our house.
Everybody's
Oh my
refining
God.
on the house.
And this
that's
is
the
not our
next-
first time.
Yeah.
We saved so much money, so many years.
Banks are killing it right
We
now.
saved
Yes, they are.
$120,000
Yep.
in 10
So
years.
That statement
No, that
is
doesn't make
what's
sense. I forget
also
how many years.
keeping seller availability
Yeah.
super low and suppressed because so many people have refied. Why are we going to move right now? We literally just refied. So
I didn't think about that.
yeah, so we've got those things happening, and they're also concerned about where they're going to move. So
That's
now,
why I would never move. Because we get
Exactly.
offers all the time in East Grand
I'm
Rapids.
sure.
Like, hey, your house is this much now.
Mhm.
Where am I going to go?
Exactly.
Nowhere.
Yep. So those are all kind of contributing, and the government's
Yeah.
pumping a lot of money into government subsidies right
Too
now
much.
as well. Yeah, a lot of money, and so those kind of dynamics are happening, as well as the eviction moratorium that's continuing and the rental moratorium.
Yeah, how do you
that's not
feel
happening.
about rent versus owning, and what would you recommend to somebody right now, maybe a potential first-time home buyer?
Yep.
I was always from the generation of buy a house so you're not throwing your money away every month. Is that no longer? Is
I
that
don't think there's a hard and fast rule anymore.
Okay.
It used to be.
right?
That
I
was
feel
the
like that's
case.
changed. That's why I bring
Absolutely.
that up.
Yeah, it's so specific to the person. What are your goals? What are you looking to do?
Yeah.
If somebody says I'm going to move in the next 2 years,
Exactly.
owning this home is not going to make sense unless you're going to keep it as a rental after the fact.
Yep.
And so meeting with your real estate agent is so key before you go out and start looking at homes. So many people just send me Zillow links and be like, hey, let's go see this house. No. We're going to talk about what your goals are and why we're going to look at this house before we
Right.
actually go out so that we can assess. Because I've told some people it doesn't make the most sense for you to own right now.
Right.
And they've thanked me for it. They don't love that information when that was their goal to begin with.
I agree. I think you buy anything, you should buy land and then build a house.
You're on the land kick. That's why you're on this right now.
100%. I think it's.
Yep.
I think. Where do you live? So you're like in California right now.
Mm-hmm.
Don't listen. I'm talking about Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay. I don't know California land prices or Texas land. I don't know.
That's insane.
You know.
Yeah.
But I think that is way more important. You get to own that land. That's your land. Anything you want to do on that land. You want to build a house on that land.
Yep.
You want to build multiple houses on that land. You dictate the prices of those houses on that land.
Yeah.
It's more, again, it's a control thing. But I think for my generation, buying a house that's probably going to be inflated, it's actually not worth what it's saying it's worth just because this neighborhood is hot right now or this area is hot right now. I think we're going to get, how's the way I can say this? We're not going to be set up correctly, right, financially. 'Cause I think a lot of my friends are 30,000 over a sticker, 50,000, 100,000. They're buying, those
Well-
houses aren't worth that money, no matter which way you cut it.
Yeah. That's
so-
because that's what their buying power allows them to think like. They're not thinking of, hey, I'm spending $300,000 on this house. They're thinking, I'm doing this monthly payment, which I can afford.
Exactly.
And so it's all in this instant emotion, like this gratification. But the second they lose buying power, like they did this week, ooh, I'm moving the octagons,
There you go.
hexagons. The second they lose buying power, like they did this week for the interest rates that went down, they lost $20,000, $30,000
Boom.
of buying power immediately because of
off it.
interest rates. And so they're really focused on what's that monthly payment.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right. I represent a builder that makes a killing in just owning land. He owns it, flips it every 2 years, a killing.
So
That's one of his properties.
I know what I'm talking
actually.
about. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Such a nice property. I might do that as a side hustle. Maybe me and you start
Totally
working
fair.
together. We start buying land and flipping it.
I'm not
But-
opposed.
I think it's such a move. So if you're young, buy land, then build a house. House you're not gonna like the house 10 years from now anyway. That's how I look at it. Like unless you're like really
You're not going to like the house 10 years from now.
15 years.
Let's just, we're giving advice. Vince's advice is for Vince.
For Vince. All right, most people, right, when they buy their house, you think they love it forever?
That's a line
yes.
right
Do,
there.
do they
you
change
know
it?
the people that live in
Do they-
Genesee,
okay, so do
they
they-
love their houses
Do
for
they ever
years.
change it? Do they ever remodel?
Exactly. They do. I've been in those houses.
So they have to change something to fall back in love with it again.
No, I'm telling you, they leave them the same for 45 years.
And they never change anything?
I swear to you.
Ew, really?
Again,
I guess-
Vince's advice is for Vince.
Correct.
This is why you meet with
Kara,
your real estate
clip that.
agents.
Oh yeah, definitely meet with Tiffany. She'll find your dream home. You'll never change.
Or you do, and that's fine too. Whatever's specific for your needs.
Some of us like the same thing for a long period of
Yeah.
time.
Also, my husband. he does not ever in his life want to move.
No.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, me too.
I mean, I do like him for a long time too.
I
He's
was
for a long
great.
time.
I was making the jokes of my husband for 20 years.
Yeah, see?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm the exception to the rule, not the rule. Finding that out today. I learned a lot in this conversation so far.
I'm so thankful for this conversation.
Me too. So
Vince's advice is for Vince.
It's for Vince.
I think that's
It's
fair.
for Vince.
That's my favorite line.
But
of this
I don't
whole
disagree.
episode.
I don't disagree with that though.
No,
I
it's
But
great
that's such a
advice for
good
you.
visual
Yeah.
representation of what you're saying is
Yeah.
that it's buyer dependent. And there is no
Yeah.
clear cut one size fits all.
Right.
To your point, you can't even comprehend the idea of staying in the same place and not doing things to make it seem new all the time.
Yeah.
But there's people that can't comprehend what you do, which is you want new things all the time.
I
you know what I'm
change
saying?
things.
Like,
We've been in our house for 11 years, and the drawers in the kitchen are constantly being changed because I'm not moving. I can't move. I have to move. I have to change something. The furniture gets moved around.
whereas
Yeah.
I bought my house so that I don't have to do a darn thing.
Yeah.
Because
See?
I don't want to do anything. I don't have it in me. I'm not good at that. I don't have an eye for that.
Yep.
I don't have the patience for that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Forget. God
Liz's
knows what-
advice is for Liz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
Interesting. Okay, so land is opportunity
Yes. For Vince.
for me.
Yep.
But anyone that's like listening is trying to hustle.
I don't think everyone could handle the idea of buying land and then making a home on. Like,
Yeah.
you
don't
are.
buy. Don't build a house. Sell it.
Also could do that.
Is a control thing that we talked about.
Yes, it
This-
is.
I know.
Yeah. No, this
Trust
excites me too,
I love
but it's
it.
just not for
I
everyone.
feel like having you has like it's like a mirror, and so it's like
It's
like
a
awesome.
control thing for sure.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Hey, everybody. It's Kirk with one last message before we finish up this episode with Tiffany. Have you all signed up for Cooking with Irie Lemon for March 24th? You better go do that. Have you subscribed? Have you told any friends about the podcast? Have you written a review on Apple Podcast? If you answered yes to any of these questions, fantastic. Thank you so much. If you answered no to any of these, what gives, folks? Thanks for your help. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Peace!
So there was a thing that said in 2029 they were expecting a crash. We had an economics guy come in say, "Hey, all signs are pointing to 2029 for a crash based on how trends are going."
Yeah.
He's since come back and said the pandemic has accelerated that, and he expects it 24, 25 time now. Yeah. So the fact that there's this like hyperinflated buyer demand, very low seller demand, all it's going to do right now is just kind of balance back out the market until we get to 5 or 6 months of inventory on hand. We are less than 1 month of inventory on hand. So,
Okay, what about in the commercial space?
oh, that's a totally different conversation. It is a fucking mess in commercial right now.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
It is a
Tell us about it.
absolute mess. So I don't deal too much in commercial real estate.
I feel like
on
it's still really
purpose.
expensive.
It is so expensive.
Right?
It is so well, because it's based on gross profit. It's not. It's a whole other.
I know, and I
conversation.
understand it's
Yeah.
not like it's suddenly going to be
Yeah.
dirt cheap, but
So the commercial space right now, everybody has figured out under duress how to do their job from home. And so a lot
Right.
of companies are like, we can save an overhead. We're not exposing people for liability.
100%.
Yeah. And so they're
and the amount of
actively
money they're
choosing-
saving
Exactly.
is insane.
And so the commercial cycle is much longer than a residential cycle for transactions. But the fact that the entire world has essentially been forced to figure out how to do it virtually, and now we're operating with efficiencies, there's no way we're going back to full
Never.
capacity
No,
in house, you know?
no, which is so interesting.
Yeah.
Talk about innovation. I think that I was listening to Will.i.am.
Yes.
And he was saying that where he wants to see the next wave of innovation is working with his team.
Yep.
Because he was like, you know, when the phone and Teams and all those were created, it was created for like the occasional working from home, sporadic, maybe you're on the road. It wasn't meant for 100% of the day we're on Teams calls and iPhones and blah, blah, blah. So he's like, where's that actual, like, think about when you're having a team meeting. Yeah, they're great on Teams. But Teams wasn't meant to replace the workplace.
Exactly.
So imagine if we had, think about experiences. Imagine if you had rooms, like experiential, like
Yep.
office rooms, like a breakout room online that was actually cool and fun to be in. And you
Yeah.
could have the conversation like you're talking about, Vince, where it's more casual versus, okay, it's my turn in the team's round. And it's so
Exactly.
like you're pressured. It's not that casual, what do they call the water cooler chat?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I think that is going to be super interesting to see because like you said, it's not going to go back to
Yeah.
my husband's like working in the office next week and I'm like, it's going to be different.
It's
not
totally
the same.
different. It's a totally different
Cafeteria's
dynamic.
closed.
Yeah.
Most people won't be there.
And I feel like
Yeah,
that's going to be a great area for a next wave
Yeah.
of even a business, right? How do you cultivate these conversations and culture in a virtual environment?
Correct.
I expect a lot to come out of that.
Companies within companies.
Mm-hmm. Or consultants within companies.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any final thoughts on commercial real estate?
Just it's definitely going to take years to catch back up.
Yeah.
So you think prices are going to start going down in our local market, or are they going to stay completely up?
Yeah, I think demand's going to force them down. That's my opinion. That commercial real estate's going to be forced down in pricing. They were going up at an incredible rate. Just even in the downtown
Nuts.
corridor,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
accelerating pretty fast. And it's because our city's done a great job of attracting outside companies to come here.
Right.
And this has totally changed the way things are. So yeah, I think buyer demand for commercial spaces is definitely going to trend those prices down. And I imagine there's some commercial spaces that might be redeveloped as bigger lofts, places
Yeah.
for residential, those kinds of things.
Yeah, I see an opportunity for big condos.
Yeah, for sure.
2-floor condos.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Especially when big city people are coming in.
Do you want to touch on social media?
Yes, you can ask me the social media
I
conversation.
feel like I know that's so, I feel like you've really excelled at using social media to leverage your firm,
Thank
brokerage agency, whatever the right word is.
yeah.
And I feel like that's something that a lot of realtors definitely, it's an opportunity for them.
Yeah.
So I would love to know what your strategy is with that and where you see that headed. We're talking about the future a lot today because
Yeah.
couple of eights. So where do you see that going in the future and also innovating?
Yeah, thank you. So it is all about giving on
Yeah.
social media. I think that people can feel, and Gary Vee talks about this a lot, they can feel when you've got sales breath coming through on your social media. It has never been about that for me. It's highlighting what's happening out in the world, highlighting other businesses, highlighting the lifestyle. If you buy in this neighborhood, these are the local businesses that are
This
involved.
we can walk to. Yeah.
Exactly. Here's a house that's for sale. Here's what to expect in this neighborhood. So the social media strategy has always been, what does it look like to live here? What does it look
What's
like
the
to be here?
experience?
Exactly.
I love
Yeah. And
that.
so just diving a little bit deeper in that. The reason why I made a face when you first started asking me this question, and I'm so sorry if I got a little bit blushy or like a weird situation, I had to remove myself from the social media strategy because I was the bottleneck to the social media strategy.
Oh.
And so when I made it about, okay, you've got to check in with me about this thing if we're going back to
Yep.
control of hiring people, I had to let myself be out of it. And
Yeah.
really, they pushed me out. Like,
Is
at
that
the
why
end of
you're
the
not
day-
in any of it too?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, because if they're waiting on me, they're waiting forever.
Because
Like,
her face, I was looking for a photo to post about today just to be like, hey, and there's
Yep.
none of
There's
her
none.
on IHeartGR.
yeah, we did.
Which I actually like,
Oh, thank you.
but not in the not like saying that your face shouldn't be on there.
Yeah, well, thank you for that too. I appreciate you clarifying. That's okay. I'll cry about that one
This is
later.
me doing me again.
Yeah, you're doing you.
I like when your face is not on social
That's
media.
fine. Vince is open
About
for love,
fucking time.
everyone.
He's open for
He's
love,
open for love.
family.
He won't insult
And
you at
land.
all. It's fine.
I'm a goddamn catch. I'm a
And
catch.
what was the word? Multi.
And a multi-potential.
Multi-potentialite. That's Vince.
We don't know
There we
what
are.
might happen,
It
but
could be
something
love.
will happen.
Land.
Oh my
One
gosh.
of those will play out.
Yeah, it'll be good. You'll get
Definitely the
something.
land.
Definitely the family.
Yep.
Immediate. Lots of kids.
With
Lots
the
of
land,
kids.
with the family.
I just don't think leading with the family is going to be the best attraction of people at this exact. Like, bring me all of your family. Let's create No, let's just not. We're going to not go down that road today. Just open for love.
Oh, I can't
Open
wait
for
for the
love.
clips for this episode.
We're going to find out
We're
how
open,
it ends
we're
up.
open for love.
So yeah, it's been not about me on purpose.
Yeah.
It's not the Tiffany Szakal brokerage. It's not. That's not at all what this is about.
Which I like, because I think you have a potential to be huge because
Thank
of that.
you.
Because of that decision.
Yeah. Thank you for revealing my 10-year vision.
Sorry.
I appreciate that. That's okay. Next podcast episode.
Next podcast episode. But yeah, I see it in the smart, and
Thank you.
I'm a huge fan of what you're doing, because I feel like your team understand what is actually going on, and a lot of people might be winning this year, next year, but they're gonna lose 5 years from now. So
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you
you
so
were just
much.
so ahead of the curve and leading the way for the whole industry, which I think, especially now where everyone's a realtor and everyone wants a realtor. And
Yeah.
I know there's so much more to it than that. And the fact that you aren't only just doing the actual business part right, but even just building your
She's in
online.
my wheelhouse, branding.
Yeah,
That's all-
100%.
That's all I'm about. So.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
We're
both.
big fans of good brands, and your brand is amazing.
Well, I've been following
We're
both
big
your
fans.
brands, and I'm big fans of yours as well.
Oh, thanks.
One day, hopefully, I can get as good as you one day.
Stop it right now. Vince is open for love, everyone.
I know, Vince. You've been beating yourself down all day.
Yeah,
today.
knock that off.
Whoa! First off, there's a lot of energy coming from both
I
corners
think
here.
we're
now.
both not tolerating what you're
Yeah.
putting out.
And now we're adding levels
Positive
to this.
mindset.
Positive
Positive
mindset.
talk.
So I can't get a compliment. I'm just saying. I'm
Manifest.
saying like, yo,
Thank you so
Manifest.
much. I
There-
received your
thank-
compliment.
there you go. I'm being nice for once in my life. And I'm getting turned up. Like, what about you? We don't
Yeah,
talk about
what
me.
about you?
My Instagram is lit. I know this.
That's the darn
Thank
truth
you.
it is.
We have funny meme content right now. That's my new hot strategy.
Which is amazing,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
They're so funny.
Yeah. But the deal is, it can't be me. So I've got a team. They run it. I meet with them once a month. They meet once a week. They're great. They do it. It's done.
Your team is like I've met so many of them too, and they're
I
just
love them.
awesome people.
Is your team?
And do you have all women?
Yeah.
So
that's-
that
Oh.
it essentially started that way, and then I started getting inquiries from other people, and I'm like, "You're our people. You
Yeah.
make sense. You're our people." So
I feel like
have,
I might just see the few girls that I know.
yes, yeah, that's how that's going.
Yeah.
So we have 6 hiring criteria for people, and they just all fit right in there. And so it did start out all women, and now we just have great people.
That's awesome.
Would you hire me?
Yes,
Really?
as long as you stick to the no jerk rule.
Ooh.
You've been pretty direct with me today.
Yikes. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Kidding.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
shit,
on that
shit.
note,
I do sell jerk chicken. I was about to say
Yes,
that.
you do. That's right. That's
That's where I thought you were going. I'm like, oh, no jerk. I got
no
a lot
jerk.
of
You got a lot of jerk. No, I do.
what are
yeah.
your rules? No
So,
jerks.
No jerks. Problem. Don't bring me problems without at least one
Please
solution.
don't
Like,
bring me the
Not
bring me the
interested.
bridge over
Yep.
the yeah.
So
Don't
no
talk about the
jerks,
flood. Bring me the
solutions
bridge.
only.
Yep, solution oriented. They've got to be community first. They've got to be really excited about the community. We do have a volunteer component. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that very much in person.
Community, volunteering.
Yep. And then there is another one
Sorry
that I
for
can't
putting you on the
remember.
spot. That's a
yeah,
lot.
no, there's 6.
No,
and
but
I
that's great that
usually
you
have
have
them.
that.
Are you a human? Like, are you
Yeah.
authentically yourself? That's an important one for me.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
That's good.
Yeah, I like
See,
it.
this is why we love you so much.
I want to
guys.
apply. I want to work. for
Honestly,
IHeartGR.
Vince would
All
be
right.
great.
You would be great.
Vince is a branding expert.
Yeah, I think I just get in
Yes,
there and
you
just
are.
like
Make it
sell
happen.
some houses.
When are you gonna give me some branding tips?
Listen, come on, the last 2 years. Guys, thank you for listening to this episode.
Tiffany, we really appreciate you
Appreciate you
taking the
coming
time. We know
on.
how busy you are.
You guys, thank you so much.
I learned so much. I think we've had a great banter, you and I.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten
Well,
closer.
and Liz was involved too.
No, wait,
at
hold
some
on.
I'm
point.
not here.
No, hold on. I think we got closer, and also Liz for keeping us on track. 'cause I know,
Thank you.
I
Thank
know.
you
I was
for
about to say, I
that.
know we were taking the conversation. So I
We
appreciate
sure
All
that.
did.
good.
Um,
I love watching you guys.
But yeah. So
Yay.
tune in for the next one.
Thanks,
All right.
guys, so much.
Peace out.
This jazz. Ooh, I even got your girl some jazz yesterday. True.